So your booster packs are changing, and your booster packs are changing in a big way if you were a fan of the Sword and Shield era versus if you plan on collecting or being a part of the Scarlet and Violet era of the Pokemon trading card game. So, what are the changes, and more importantly, how do they impact you? Well, in today's video, we're going to go over that, but before we do, let's roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, friends, we talk about the booster pack configuration changes that have finally been revealed, breaking news as of yesterday, on PokeBeach for the Scarlet and Violet era of Pokemon. Now, in case you haven't heard, there's a new era for the Pokemon trading card game. It is Scarlet and Violet. So, like the video game that came briefly before it and was a hot mess with glitches, so too will you get Pokemon cards that are hopefully not glitches. That'd be weird. But there's a ton of stuff that the Pokemon company has basically changed about trading cards going into this new era. So it's really interesting because in the Sword and Shield era, we would have gotten a very different kind of booster pack than what we will inevitably be getting in the Scarlet and Violet era. So it's really cool, really interesting, especially if you're a fan of the English TCG. You'll notice quite a bit is changing, some for the better, some for the worse. So it remains to be seen how the community will react. Up till now, we've just been getting news about this stuff. Very rarely has anybody actually been able to react to the cards in front of them, and that's because for the most part, none of this stuff is even out yet. So, super interesting because I am really excited to see just genuinely how the community reacts to this kind of stuff. Now, let's jump into this article. It's from PokeBeach. I shout their praises every time I can. They're great. Definitely go check them out, bookmark them. They give tons of new TCG type of news all the time. Link will be down below in the description, by the way. Anywho, so the Pokemon trading card game company just recently announced that due to global inflation, the price of booster packs will now be increasing from $3.99 to $4.49. So, first thing right there is that you will be seeing a 50-cent US dollar increase to your booster packs. Now, what does that mean for the average person? Well, that means that you are seeing a 12.53% increase to your booster packs from MSRP, right? So inflation has more or less kind of existed in that 10% range. Pokemon is giving you a 12.5% increase to your booster packs, or approximately 1/8 of the total price. Now, although 50 cents doesn't sound like a lot, bear in mind that it's not 50 cents, it's a booster box times 12.5%. So back in the day, a booster box used to cost $3.99, which is the price of one pack, times the 36 packs that were contained in a booster box. That gave you an MSRP of $143.64. Now, effectively, what you need to do is either multiply that by 1.125, or you could just do $4.49 times 36, and you get a new MSRP of $161.64. Now, that's kind of a big deal. Why is that a big deal? That's a lot of money. So you're going to be paying more or less an extra $20 for every booster box that you buy. And that's kind of how you have to look at the math, right? So while the individual booster pack has increased in value, don't forget that that is inherently going to affect every Pokemon trading card game product that comes out for this new era. I don't necessarily know because we have yet to see some of the pricing that you might see at like a Walmart or a Target, but it is my anticipation that this increase in pricing will then kind of trickle its way down and into your other types of boxes. So what used to be a $20 box with 4 packs and maybe a holographic card and a jumbo card may now get closer to $22 or maybe even $25 as Pokemon's increase in MSRP kind of finds its way to manifest in other products as well. But don't you worry, friends, because each Scarlet and Violet booster pack is now coming with 3 guaranteed foil cards to compensate. Now, I know we've literally read 2 sentences and we're already 5 minutes into this video, but I do want to just make note that foil cards are not as great as you think they are. If the majority of them are going to be reverse holos or just regular holos, and they're not going to be quote-unquote hits in the box, it's not going to, make much of a difference. And to be genuinely fair, if Pokemon is already producing this stuff en masse, it probably costs them pennies to make any given card on average. So, a 50-cent increase and, the addition of one additional card that costs you maybe a penny, maybe a fraction of a penny in order to manufacture, still kind of paints a somewhat gross picture, namely, Pokemon's increase in price doesn't necessarily correlate with what you're getting in the pack, right? If you were expecting an extra 50 cents in value, I don't necessarily think you're going to be getting 50 cents in value, and that's just based off my, general knowledge of everything that kind of exists out there, and more importantly, how they manufacture these cards, which is by the millions. The other thing to bear in mind is that you shouldn't consider the aftermarket when looking at something like this, right? So you're thinking, oh, 50 cents, but I get a chance to pull an $8 ultra rare. That's great. There's my value, Ryan. Well, wrong. To Pokemon, the people who made the cards, each of these cards is worth less than a penny. So that's how you should be thinking about it if you think about where that 50 cents in extra value is going to get derived from. Now, moving on. So we can now exclusively reveal that each, this is PokeBeach by the way, that each booster pack will feature 2 reverse holo cards and 1 holo card. Now, initially when I read that news, I was kind of taken aback because I was like, so you're going to give me 2 reverse holos, that's it? But there is a bit of a gimmick here, so I'll hold off on speaking about it till we get a little bit lower. The order and configuration of booster packs will also be changing, so now each pack will be ordered with the rarest cards in the back. So in the past, you would have had to have done a card trick in order to get your rarest cards to be in the back of the booster pack, but now the order is going to be 4 common cards, 3 uncommon cards, 2 reverse holos, and 1 holo. And then you're going to get a basic energy and a code card. So that is actually a good thing because it now means that 2 common cards that we previously used to get in each booster pack are going to get nixed, and instead you're going to get a second holo and a guaranteed holo. So not terrible, because at least there's that, nice little trade-off there where you're going to be getting more chances at something shiny as a consumer and less chances at a guaranteed common card that is realistically either going to go into a deck, go into bulk for trade-in, or go into a binder that you might be collecting. Now, the other thing is that if you pull either a illustration rare or a special illustration rare, both of which are secret rares, they will take the place of the second reverse holo slot. So the way that this works is that if you look right here at the text that I have highlighted, this is where the fun stuff is going to happen. That first reverse holographic card is always going to be a reverse holographic card. So make no mistake about it, that much remains true from previous generations and is true in this generation as well. However, that second reverse holo slot is the one where something special can happen. You might get a regular second reverse rare card. However, additionally, or potentially, you could also instead get a different card. You can get effectively a trainer gallery card. So here are some examples of what a illustration rare is going to look like. It's basically a trainer gallery card. The only difference is that note that down here it's not numbered as such. Normally with trainer gallery cards you would have gotten a TG and then a number between 1 and 30. Here, these get treated like secret rares, which is pretty cool. It's a little bit more like the Japanese would have done it, as opposed to the way that the English has done it in the past. So it just kind of goes to show you they're continuing to consider ways to kind of get things to work together. And then the other thing you might be able to get is these special illustration rares. So these ones, same concept, they're going to be numbered as secret rares. It has 2 stars instead of 3 though, which I thought 2 stars instead of 1, which I think is pretty cool. At least there's like, a little bit of specialness to this, which I think kind of carries it a long way. And then here is just another card that you might potentially be able to pull. This one happens to be in Japanese, so it won't be numbered appropriately for the English. So as I just noted, they have single and double gold colored stars rarity, And yeah, that's pretty neat. So that's what you might be expecting out of that second slot. It effectively works the same way that the trainer gallery has worked for us. The only difference is that now there's kind of like two types of rarities that you can pull out of there, excluding the just regular reverse rare or reverse card in general, and that's going to be a single illustration rare or a double star special illustration rare card. So long story short, expect a lot of shiny cardboard out of that second reverse holo slot. The next thing that you need to know then is that the rest of the secret rare cards can be pulled out of the holo slot. So it's kind of weird because basically anything that looks remotely pretty is going to come out of that second reverse slot, and then your regular rares for the set are going to come out of your regular rare slot, which I guess kind of makes sense. Now, that holo slot has changed a tiny bit, in as much as you are now guaranteed a holographic card no matter what. In the past, Pokemon did make some just regular rare cards that were non-holographic, and usually they reserved all holographic rares for special sets. So something like Champion's Path had Machamp, everybody's favorite card, which was a holographic card. However, here on out going forward, everybody's going to be getting rare cards that are holographic cards. There will be no more rare cards that are non-holographic cards. Now, the other thing is that you can get a double rare holo, which is just a regular Pokemon EX, go figure. An ultra rare holo, which is going to be any kind of full art. Traditionally, these would have been the ones that have texture. And then a hyper rare card, which is a gold card. So kind of interesting because I can kind of see what's happening here, and I'll provide my thoughts on that in just a little bit. Now, the rares and double holos will feature a single and double black colored stars, so they really like playing with stars nowadays. And then ultra rare holos will feature 2 white stars, and hyper rares will use 3 white stars. So what does any and all of that mean? Well, here's a regular holographic card, right? And as you notice, there's a single black star right down here where my mouse is moving. So period, end of story. That's what you can expect probably 90% of the time. Then you have an EX card, and these are the cards that have been hyped up, very cool, very fancy, and as you notice, they have 2 black stars, so they're not necessarily the rarest thing, because they only have 2 black stars, as opposed to 2 white stars, or 2 gold stars, or any other color star that they could squeeze into this damn Pokemon game at this point. Next up, they have the, I guess you can call this a hyper rare, or at least some kind of fancy rare, because it has 2 white stars. And then, lastly but not least, here is a gold card, and this gold card is what you could presumably expect to be of the ultra rare variety, and those are the ones that will have the 3 white stars or something of the sort. So yeah, tons of confusing new rarities that they've kind of layered in, and I think the intention behind that is to kind of give an understanding of what card is what rarity and how often you should be expecting to pull it. So it remains to be seen, but fingers crossed, with any kind of luck, it's at least an enjoyable experience as you kind of see hits from all of the different stripes of rarity. So now PokeBeach goes on to kind of give you some interesting insights, right? You could theoretically pull 2 reverses and 1 Miraidon EX, either it's double rare, ultra rare, or hyper rare variety. So this would be the double rare, this would be the ultra rare, and this would be the hyper rare. And then in another pack, you could pull 1 reverse, 1 Miraidon EX, that's this one up here, the special illustration, I'll call it trainer gallery card. And then you could still pull like a regular Pokemon out of just, your regular rare slot. And in most packs, you'll pull 2 reverse holos and 1 rare holo. That's exactly what I said, and that's exactly how you should be thinking about this. That's what your average pack is going to look like, and then it's very likely that some packs, and I'm sure they'll end up on YouTube, will have some absolutely insane pulls, like combining this special art with this ultra rare, and it'll make for an amazing opening, which I think is kind of the design choice that they've kind of made here. Now, for fans, this new order increases the suspense as you reach the rarest card at the end of your booster pack. I don't really, think that matters much, but If you are one of those folks who opens up cards by doing the card trick, the good news is that you no longer need to do the card trick. And that's actually what the article notes for streamers, but also for just collectors. If you do the pack trick, all you need to do is either move the basic energy to the front and discard the code card, or just peel the last 2 cards off the pack and don't move anything. The card trick, quote unquote, has already been done for you because of the way the cards are now ordered. And again, that order is now 4 common cards, 3 uncommon cards, 2 reverse, and 1 hollow. So in theory, you don't have to move anything, you just have to start shearing through these and it'll go in order of rarity, which is actually pretty neat. And then the last thing the article notes is that previously it was the end, the trading card company announced the end of non-holo rares, so all rares and higher will now be foil. This is why every booster pack is now guaranteed to come with 1 foil card because of the change, and it's a first for a normal English set, right? So in the past, we would have gotten some of them mixed in. Only special sets would have had a guaranteed foil card in every pack. And then Rainbow Rares are also gone, to the celebration of many fans. So RIP Rainbow Rares, you'll kind of be missed, but I kind of like the regular trainer cards better. So yeah. Anyways, friends, so my thoughts on this. It seems like Pokemon has taken a really interesting approach to this next generation. I think over the Sword and Shield era, we saw some really interesting mechanics roll out, the Trainer Gallery being one of them. I personally think the Trainer Gallery was inspired, however, by sets like Hidden Fates, which introduced another mechanic, which was effectively a larger subset within a set that could be collected, and you pulled it out of the reverse holographic slot. If you heard that definition, it applies identically to every trainer gallery that has ever been released. And I think what a lot of people realize is that not only are trainer galleries really fun, but they add an extra dimension to the Pokemon trading card game pack opening experience, because some packs can be really, really enjoyable and can be very unique and fun. And I think for a long time, when Pokemon just basically had 1 slot that you could pull stuff out of, it kind of dragged a little bit. So I think by doing this and introducing these additional rarities, they're not carrying forward the idea of a trainer gallery, but they're carrying forward the spirit of the trainer gallery and sets that came before it that inspired it, like Hidden Fates, where you can have some really amazing, cool packs because of the fact that you're going to get a hit potentially out of one of your reverse slots as well as in your rare slot. And I think that's a big part of the mechanic that has kind of introduced itself here. This is just me randomly speculating, but I think Pokemon may have felt a little pinch, a teeny tiny one, as it relates to their production of trainer rares and maybe the foil and how much more it cost them as they were making these trainer gallery cards. And so what they did was they increased the price, knowing fully well that the 50 cents covers and very much compensates them for any amount of foil that they're going to be using. And then at that point, they just had the ability to, really kind of beef up the pack. So I think what you should expect in the future is a lot more beefy of a pack. You're going to get a lot of additional chances at rare, textured, fancy cards, and I think that's going to be of great help. I also do note, however, I don't see, while I do see gold cards, and I do see gold shiny cards, which have basically been around since the Sword and Shield era and were definitely inspired by Hidden Fates, I do think the other thing that is pretty big here is that I don't see alternate arts. Now, if I look at this card, I would argue that's an alternate art card. And that's definitely not because there's a regular, there's one of these, there's one of these, and there's one of these, and so now all you needed was an alternate version of the art on that card. Lo and behold, here it is. But I think they kind of 86'd alternate art cards, but they gave you the special illustration rare holo cards. So I think that effectively takes the place of those cards, and works in basically the exact same way, except for the fact that you're not pulling it out of the rare slot, you're going to be pulling it out of the reverse holo slot. So aside from that, I think you kind of see where everything now kind of falls into place. The biggest observation I have is that they're taking many of the mechanics from the previous generations that really worked, that fans really liked, and they're putting it into the packs now. So I think, all things considered, that's going to be a good thing, because it's really going to help modern fans enjoy their pack opening experience, and I think that's really going to be a good thing in the long run. Now, the other major thing that impacts this that nobody has spoken about, myself included, is pull rates. If pull rates are abysmal, if pull rates are not good, you can put as many great cards in a set as you want. It's not going to be fun to open up. So I think that is the other thing that Pokemon will have to calibrate around. Historically, base sets tend to have pretty rough pull rates, but we'll certainly see how far they get along the process as they kind of start rolling out new products and we kind of get our hands on some of these in order to open up. With all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, hey, consider subscribing to become part of the Gengar Gang if you think I earned your subscription today, and hey, consider liking the video if you haven't already. Let me know, friends, do you plan on picking up Scarlet and Violet? Do you plan on restarting your collecting journey? Have you finished Sword and Shield sets yet? Let me know. Where are you at in this shift in generations? But other than that, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. I appreciate your viewership as always, and we will talk soon. Peace.